Thassa Educator family, have you ever been a master in your field? Confident, experienced, respected, only to move to a new country and suddenly feel like a complete beginner, like you're starting from zero? See what I'm saying? You know the curriculum, you know the pedagogy, but suddenly nothing seems to work, or just some things seem to work but others don't. When an educator moves across borders, we aren't just changing a job title, we are being transplanted. And if you've ever moved a plant, you know that the first few weeks are the most crucial. The first few months, in this case, are very crucial. Today, we are talking about the grounding. We are looking at the first 100 days in a new system and how to handle the professional vertigo that comes with your roots hitting new soil. Before we dig in, please make sure you subscribe to EduElevate Network. If you have done so, a massive thank you. We are building a global community for teachers who are brave enough to cross borders. Hit that bell icon and let's find our footing together. Right. I want to say that every tree begins its life in a specific ecology. At least every teacher starts from somewhere, either the country they were born or the country they immigrated to. In this scenario, every tree, its roots learn the chemistry of the soil, the frequency of the rain, the pattern of the wind, you name it. As teachers, our ecology is our home culture. When we move, we experience a shock to our system. And this ain't a bad thing. The phase is called the grounding. You cannot reach for the sky in a new school until you have secured your roots in this new land. So let us look at the paradox of the expert beginner. And I remember when the first time I stood in an oak forest, the trees were tall and straight. And I'm going to use a lot of metaphors in this video, by the way. Standing at a distance with each other, but very close though. They were so different from the wide, tangled, thick-trunked baobab trees back home in Kenya. Because in Kenya, the baobab is well known for its very resilient nature. It stores water during the dry season, during the rainy season, which is usually during the drought season. It is not even bothered by the drought, by the way. It stands tall, it sheds its leaves. If you come from a culture where teaching is very slightly different, landing in a new system can feel very different, and it is expected. The reality is you've just changed jobs, job titles, you're being transplanted. You are not failing, you are grounding. Just imagine if you have ever transplanted anything. It takes a while, right? And that's the most crucial part before the new roots begin to gain. Get used to the new soil, So, kitu najaribu kusema ni kwamba ni paradox, sababu unatoka nyumbani kama umemaster, unatoka kama you're somewhere when it comes to experience ya kufunza, sivyo? Alafu unapata kama umemove, unapata unaanza kulearn vile unafanya vitu kwenye umeenda, and many times unaanza from zero because hakuna kitu itakutokea of what you need to do kuthrive kwa hizi madarasa. hizo orientations hazitoshi. Okay, so kitu tunasema ni kwamba ni paradox because unakuwa expert beginner and you learn quick because of that. So that is a strength. All right, so tell me in the comments where you moved from and where you are teaching now. And if this metaphor resonates with you, please share this video with a colleague who just joined the international school, or a colleague who is in a country and wants to immigrate and teach abroad. It is a great experience. I would encourage any teacher who has that vision, that who wants to immigrate, to pursue that, and let's help each of us grow together. So I want to say that personally, when I moved, I experienced this professional vertigo. Just like any other teacher, and I call it professional vertigo because it feels a little bit disorienting sometimes, because you're trying to navigate the paperwork, you're trying to navigate housing, you're trying to navigate getting a car, transportation, you're trying to navigate food, culture shock is another thing, you're trying to learn the school system, the unspoken rules, the social cues, the students, the curriculum, the way things are done. It's a lot. So it is expected, it is common, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. This video is not meant to terrify any teacher. It is meant to give clarity so that you lessen the period in which you stay in that state of professional vertigo, because we want you to get your wings as quick as possible, right? You know, we want you to get into that classroom and shine on and do what really brought you abroad, right? So what I want to say is that I feel or think that I arrived with my root system intact, my ways of teaching, my expectations of respect, my instructional pace, just being generally my way of doing things. But the soil was different, so I couldn't continue doing things the same way. I had to. And I want to really appreciate the professional developments, because these things, especially for international teachers, they are very helpful. They help you to understand the expectations. I want to appreciate admin support as well, because that comes in handy. If you have instructional coaches, your mentors, the guidance and counseling offices and personnel, those are very helpful, and I would encourage you to use them and reach out when you need help that is within your space. So I didn't know which way to do it, and I want to really thank my sponsors as well. They really helped, because they kept having the what is it called? They kept having sessions with us just to check on us and how we're doing, answer some questions, and just help us to bridge those gaps that we could be having. But that vertigo, it's kind of like the feeling that keeps being there at personal level, you know, and you just have to go through those motions, and that's how you learn from it. You become a better and better as time goes by. Okay? Yes, so I want to give this analogy again of a tale of two trees, the baobab culture and the oak culture. They are very unique in their own respect. Really, teaching is in these different spaces is equally very different. Students are very different. So if you're a baobab teacher landing in an oak forest, you have to adjust a lot, you know, to be able to meet the needs of where you are at the moment. And that said, it's good to remember that every tree begins life in a specific ecology. So your roots learn the chemistry of your home culture. So when you move, there's definitely going to be a mismatch a little bit, but that's now where growth happens. It is not that you don't have the skill. It is not that you're less of a professional. It is just that you're learning the system, and that takes a while. So let's look at mapping the journey using the Oberg curve. So this talks about 4 phases, where And it is emotional well-being versus time. I love this because it really displays the reality quite clearly. So I want to say that psychologist Calvero Obert reminds us that um, this isn't just your head. It's not just in your head. You're not just feeling things or seeing things. It's a process. So when you land in a new country, definitely when you migrate, you start with the honeymoon phase, uh, the new workplace, the smart boards, everything is neat and clean. Have your classroom, you have everything set up, you have the meeting new colleagues, and the excitement of a new environment, generally meeting new people. So, but eventually the honeymoon ends and you begin to go to have the negotiation phase. If you really feel you're struggling, you're basically around here. And by the way, my goal is to help educators not stay here for too long because it can be so frustrating. I want you to move over to the other phases really quickly because it's important that the phase that you're in gets you here quickly, not stay here. Because if you stay here, that's not a good sign. You will. That's not a good sign, even professionally at where you are. It may call for other measures that I mean it's not good for you. It doesn't look good on you. So you want to make sure you're getting here, or at least here. But the best one is the mastery level. So my goal is basically for us to get help teachers, new teachers especially, or veteran teachers who still have some gaps in between that they can that need that help. I mean, it's free, it's all here to move from the negotiation phase to the mastery phase. So frustration lives in this phase. The tiger lives there. And I want to show you that you're not just adjusting to a new school. You're adjusting to a new version of yourself. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please go ahead and do so. Share this video with fellow educators who are struggling and are trying to find their footing and are trying to get to the mastery level, because the content I share here is basically to help you move to that level, the mastery level, quickly and easily. And so, to expand a little bit on the negotiation phase, in this phase you are negotiating the soil. You're asking how much of your old self should you keep, how much of the new system should you adopt, what is working, what is not, what should you tweak a little bit just to apply to your classroom. It can be very, very exhausting, and emotionally and mentally, and it's understandable. That's the feeling of having that professional that I was talking about. It doesn't last forever. It is just a phase. Okay, you're in a new place. Come on, take it easy. Every day is different. It's not always be like that. You're going to end up meeting some of the wonderful colleagues and students that it will probably just change your narrative. So don't rush it. Remember, the frustration is actually is telling you like it's like it may not look like a star, but it's actually a sign that your roots are trying to find a grave. You're growing, even if it feels like you're struggling. You're growing. Believe you me, like honestly, you're growing. Okay. And so, if you're in that frustration phase, that negotiation phase, hang in there. Okay. You are not a bad teacher. You are just a transplanted one. And please, guys, subscribe for more videos in this series where we'll talk about how to reach mastery, because there is a lot that you need to get in between to be able to move from here to here. Okay. So the first 100 days, all these things happen, especially here and there. Okay. So how do we navigate? How do we navigate? How do we navigate that phase? All right. Spend your first 100 days listening more. Ask questions where you don't understand. Because in most global classrooms, those spaces within those schools, dialogue is very much encouraged. Clarity Don't just be silent when you don't understand. Of course, listen, but ask. Study, what does respect look like in your place? How is success defined? Be it, is your school data driven? Are they looking out for aspects of social emotional learning and the likes? There's also this new term, NASLOG. This tree here, it looks like it's rotting and stuff, but giving nutrition and nutrients to this tree, and it's giving life to this tree basically. And it's old, it's been here forever. It knows, it has a history with this place. So look out for your mentors and let them help you to grow. This may not really be the exact analogy that I wanted to use, but anyway, you get the point, right? Find a mentor, someone who has survived the transplant, and someone who has survived the transplant, and then compare those notes with someone who has not been transplanted but has survived. Merge the two. That will make you to thrive, right? You don't have to really stress so much over it. All you have to do is just learn how to grow in the new soil while you keep the soul intact. Okay? So as you observe, listen, ask, find out, learn the students, that's very important, learn the parents, find ways of communicating, get your mentor. You don't have to do this alone. Preserve your core. This is very, very important. Oh my goodness. I don't know how much I can stress this, but I don't know. You're getting my point, right? Get the balance. Adaptation is not a simulation. You don't really have to, but you have to learn the ropes of how it is done in the ways of the land where you are. Find out how. Find the cues that work. Okay. So it is my hope that all educators get to the master educator. Go through the painful grounding. But that ends. It comes to an end, by the way. Once your root are secure and they get their grip, you get stronger, you begin to mentor other teachers, and it just goes on and on, You're no longer just a teacher from one country, you're a global educator, and someone capable of thriving, actually, not capable, but actually thriving in new soil. So I want to say that the grounding is the hardest part, and one of the biggest goals and agendas of this EduElevate Network channel is basically to get teachers to not stay too long, like I said, in the negotiation phase, okay? You don't want to be there too long, otherwise you will lose it. So what we're saying is getting you to be the master educator as quick as possible. That is the goal, that is the agenda. Because the whole experience is very good. I mean, you will learn a lot of stuff, you will grow professionally. It comes with a lot of responsibility, but at the same time opportunity. So it's something you want to make sure that you learn way in front. Because once your root find a way, you'll be stronger and you'll be that teacher that you've always wanted to be. So what are we saying? We're saying that if this video helps you feel a little less lost today, please give it a like, give it a share. Share with somebody, share with a teacher within your networks, share with teachers in your WhatsApp groups, because we need to remind each other that vertigo is temporary. This professional vertigo that happens, this disorientation, this frustration, it is temporary and it's just part of the process. That's actually where growth happens, But our impact as educators is permanent. So I want to end this video by saying that thank you so much for those who have subscribed to this channel. I'm super grateful.